So, friends, good evening on behalf of Higher Education Forum, Maharitarle Foundation, and also SIS School of Learning and Development. We welcome you to the yet another interesting session today evening. Uh, you know, the we have had a couple of sessions on artificial intelligence, and the concept is really marvelous as far as the application aspect is concerned. Probably the whole world's domain, the whole world's working, the needed skill sets, and so on and so forth will undergo a massive transformation. But one of the issues that remains at the core of everything, and that's essentially the ethical aspects of the uh, artificial intelligence, which is being talked about not that loudly actually. It is being talked about in the education circles to some extent, but it is not being vibrated everywhere. That up to what extent we can use artificial intelligence and what's the boundary line, what is the red line beyond which it will call a plagiarism, or you call it a violation of a rights, a violation of a data privacy law, and so on and so forth actually. And therefore the ethical dimensions of the artificial intelligence has become a very critical issue today. And to talk on this particular topic, we have with us Madam Vani, Venkat. She's a project lead in IBM. She holds a master in computer application. Besides that, she also holds the certifications in artificial intelligence and the machine learning. And she also holds a PMP degree from the Project Management Institute of India, which is a very prestigious degree as far the project management goes. And she holds a huge amount of expertise in the area of the artificial intelligence and the machine learning. And she has done a number of programs at the various places. So we are sure today that the discussions are going to be the interesting, insightful, and as usual, we will look forward to interactive session with the madam. So after let's say 45 minutes or 40 minutes or so, we'll make the floor open for the people to interact freely. So thank you very much, madam. On behalf of all of us present over here, we welcome you to an evening session and the to pre-dinner session, which is quite difficult for all of us. So we welcome you, and the floor is open to you, madam.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, sir, for this opportunity. I feel humbled to address such an august audience. I mean, most of you are so experienced and esteemed educators. So, deep respect for all the educators because we become who we are because of people like you. So, with this, I would like to begin my session, and I hope you are able to see my screen. Is everyone able to see my screen, please?
Yeah, yeah, we're
Yes,
able
ma'am.
to.
Okay. And am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible, madam.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah. Thank you so much. So, welcome once again to this session. And today we are going to talk about AI, ethics, and education. Now, as we all know, AI is not just a technology, but it has become a way of life. Why? Because of so much computing power, so much data, and so many algorithms. So, the combination of all three creates and necessitates the use of AI in the lives of all of us today. Now, we will discuss about the importance of ethical AI in education, especially education because most of us are from the education domain. We will try to understand what AI is, what ethical AI is, how it can be percolated to the domain of education, what are the benefits, what are the challenges we face in this, what could be the best practices, and I will take up two case studies and also the regulations and the trends which are there. So, this is what we are going to discuss today. This is the agenda. The first is what is ethical AI, then why these AI ethics are important, what are the key principles of AI ethics. We'll discuss briefly about AI in education, which actually is a very vast domain and it will take a lot of time to, if we plan to discuss in detail. We will come to understand about personalized learning and what are some ethical concerns which are there when we try to implement the AI systems? Certain design principles which we need to keep in mind while designing such systems. Also, the analysis and trade offs, and certain tools which are used for AI in education, the best practices which have been there, and these best practices tools and all are a byproduct of UNESCO and Government of India AI policy, of which I am also a part now. So we will also, discuss what is the way forward. Then we will, as sir suggested, open the forum for questions and answers. Now we come to what is ethical AI. So ethical AI is, AI in ethics. Now, why is it important? It is important because there have to be certain ethical guidelines regarding the fundamental values, okay, things such as individual rights, privacy, non-discrimination, okay, non-manipulation. So what do we mean by this? These days, when we look at even news or something, we get certain news items which we don't need to know. The privacy of individuals, the privacy of their lives, this is very important to, maintain this. We also see that there are certain pictures which are floated, which are generated by AI. Now this is illegitimate use of AI. So there is an imminent need to apply ethical AI and also have clearly stated policies and review processes so that we can ensure the adherence to these guidelines. Now, ethical AI is not just limited to what is permissible by law, because legal guidelines, if we look at them, they have a minimum threshold of acceptability. Whereas ethical AI has to go beyond the legal requirements to respect the fundamental human values. So, anything that gives a bias, anything that promotes a self-destructive behavior is neither legal nor ethical. That is why there is a lot of focus and emphasis on ethical AI in the times of today. Now, why are AI ethics important? AI ethics are extremely important so that all the individuals are treated in a fair manner and without bias. uh, I don't know whether you have come across this news where certain terms were used by Alexa and they had to draw that version of Alexa back because people reported about bias towards certain community. So we have to ensure that the algorithms and the data which are used to train these AI models do not discriminate or favor certain groups or people over others. Then we come to transparency. So, transparency means that whatever goes on has to be known to people. People have to understand how exactly an AI system works and what is the logic behind these decisions. So, this helps build trust and it also allows for accountability. So, as of now, there is a law which states that, even the banks which give us loans or the organizations who hire students or others can keep track of our social media. So it's not that earlier they never did it, but now there is a legal legislation for it, and the consumers are also aware that their social media history and all is being tracked. So this kind of transparency has to be important so that people know what is going on, what is the logic behind this, and also there is trust. Now, when we come to accountability, people who deploy and develop, these kind of AI systems should also be responsible for the good or the harm which happens because these systems are being deployed. So, what happens is that the projects of AI which are biased or where inaccurate data has been used or where underpresentation or groupism has happened, they can become unmanageable for not just engineers and product managers but also for people who are a part of the data set, who are the audience. So it is very important to have a code of ethics during the development process itself so that we can mitigate any future risks. Now, let us look at the key principles which should be there when we implement ethical AI. The first is fairness, which means that all individuals should be treated equally. Now, when we develop these algorithms and when they are trained over data sets, it is our moral responsibility to ensure that these models do not discriminate against certain groups or does not favor certain groups. In fact, there has been a lot of talk about inclusiveness while building learning models. So, can anybody tell me what exactly we mean by inclusiveness? What exactly do we mean by inclusiveness? Hello.
Not discriminating between race, class, gender, caste.
Yeah. And yes, that's true. Anything else that comes to your mind?
Political ideologies.
Yes. And the software and the models which are developed should be such that people who are challenged in some way uh, are able to
Yeah,
fit in.
differently abled, the visually
Yes,
challenged, for
differently abled
example.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, differently abled or people, who have a hearing issue or some other issue. Even people who are, uh, challenged in terms of, some mental capacity or something, they are also a part of learning. So, learning is basically a universal right. Okay, we will come to that when we discuss universal access. Now, accountability, which means that organizations and individuals who have been responsible for developing these systems should also accept responsibility for any errors, biases, etc. So, what happens is that all the AI which is designed should be human centric, as in, it should support the human educators as well as learners without undermining their role. What do I mean when I say this? What do I mean when I say this? That it should support the educators and learners and not undermine their role.
So you're not showing them any disrespect.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
at the same time, you're acknowledging difference and diversity.
Right. Very good. So, as exactly ma'am said, all kinds of AI and the learning models have to be such that they have to be facilitators. They have to just add on or enhance to what is already existing. While making life easy, it should not be, a place which replaces the human. That should not be the concept while developing. So, these are the principles which have to be kept in mind. Now we come to how students can follow AI ethics. So the first thing that is to be kept in mind is that the algorithms can be biased and there can be discrimination. So students need to be aware of what are the different kind of biases and how they can, prevent these biases from affecting them. Also, there are, certain tools like chat gpt which is these days freely used by students for, their assignments, for their project work. But is chat gpt meant for this? No, it is only, a tool to help you work better. It is not the solution to the problem. Like if you, use chat gpt to copy or to do your project, it is, something which is, yes, sorry, somebody was saying something, I guess. Yeah. Was someone asking a question? Hello?
No, ma'am, you can continue.
Okay, okay. So, like Chat GPT is there, people make use of Chat GPT very freely. Now, Chat GPT is just an AI tool. So, it could give an answer which could be correct, which could not be correct. And not every answer that you get from that AI tool can be accepted at face value. So, we also need to, back up or refute it. I'll just give an example of an experience which I had. So I was a visiting professor at one MBA institute, and there were students whom I gave a project on big data, and they mentioned a few things, and I could see that, this is not something they know. So when I saw the visualization vis-a-vis what they wrote, I could see that, this is not an original idea and it has been, copy pasted. So I asked them and they actually accepted later. But this doesn't help, because if you're not, ingraining something, if you're not actually learning and making the effort to, learn a skill or learn a technology or try to understand and then practically implement it, you will not be able to be successful later on. It Chat GPT can be a helper, but it should not be a crutch. So, students have to understand that. Other than that, they need to check everything. If you're writing something, if you're presenting something, you need to, back it up with proof. You need to give references if you've taken something from somewhere. So these things have to be kept in mind. Then uh, AI doesn't protect privacy. This has to be really, understood by students. So certain, information which is there, if they want something, some template, they just enter their details, and they get the template, it is immediately downloadable. But the importance of consent, the importance of how your data will be used, okay, these kind of things the students need to understand. Also, there has to be, more openness about discussing the ethical dimensions of AI. What are the implications, what are the dimensions, okay, and why certain outcomes are being produced, how, we could instead, have better outcomes, and certain regulations and policies which protect the individual's privacy rights. These days, the entire game is about data sharing, right from, having a Gmail account to, making transactions online. Data is shared everywhere, which, brings us to the need of data privacy laws, because there has been a lot of data breach, and by everyone. I mean, you cannot say that X has done and Y hasn't done. Everybody does this data sharing with each other. So these are certain things, students in the stage when they are, pursuing their college degrees, they need to understand this from that stage, so that they are more prepared and we have a more ethical AI space. Now we come to AI in education. So the basic idea behind bringing AI in education was to, take care of the mundane tasks while the technicalities are being dealt with, and the faculty can assess the students better, they can guide them better, they can also enhance, the students wellness and the desire to compete and remain proactive in their given domain. And also, there could be a functionality where feedback could be given properly. So this AI will help teachers become learning motivators. Also, the most immediate impact of AI in teaching has been, to automate repetitive tasks, so that teachers get more time to engage the students and guide them better. Now, AI in education market, which was about $3 billion in 2022, has grown at the rate of 44 to 45%, at a CAGR of 44 to 45% after 2024. So these AI integrated edtech tools, which are very common these days, are more efficient. So AI has actually, touched all parts of education. Now, beyond using AI tools for educational purposes, it is also very crucial to educate students about AI itself. That is, how to develop the technologies and also understand the potential risks. So, here I would like to mention that, there are certain organizations who are doing very good groundwork in terms of uh, educational AI, and this is being percolated across a lot of villages in Rajasthan, in Madhya Pradesh, where, digital technologies and education are integrated to bring about a more cohesive and inclusive learning. So, use of computers and, use of the latest AI tools brings about more accessibility, and it facilitates personalized learning. These days, most of the schools also, have some AI app or something, so that the learning material can be accessed online. And this helps because, certain children, they will not communicate to their parents, they are busy, playing or something. So parents can also see what exactly is going on, how the child is performing. There are various learning tools like quizzes, there are, assignments which the children can do, projects are also submitted on those apps. Now, time consuming tasks like record keeping or grading also is done through automated AI. And it also answers a lot of fundamental questions about how people learn. Now, what happens here is that the solutions which have been developed for AI education, they analyze huge amounts of data. When they do this, they are able to identify the student performance and also provide, yes, hello, is there a question, please? I think I heard someone.
No, no, ma'am, no.
Okay, okay. So they provide insights for curriculum improvement, and also, when the educators are able to see these analytics, because all the applications, all such applications have a dashboard and have drilled down. So on certain fields, you can, sort data, view, filter. So, based on these parameters, the educators can also make informed decisions and also have new insights about how to refine their teaching strategies. Also, AI in education is increasingly used to personalize learning experience for students. So it provides tailored educational content which is based on their skills, interests, and learning styles. And also it analyzes the performance data and identifies patterns for learning difficulties or gaps in understanding. Now, when I say this, as I walk through this presentation, in the later stages of this presentation, I will also, talk about some apps which help children with dyslexia, with help children which have various challenges. I have a child who has a hearing issue. So, you know, uh, these kind of AI tools help a lot. And also, these days schools are more understanding. So, when I came to know about the hearing challenges of my child, I approached the school and they were, very forthcoming. They were very helpful. And because of this, my child feels included in his school. Okay. So, hello,
No, no,
hello.
please go ahead. Please
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. So AI also provides great support to the teachers, and solutions which have been developed for education also create systems which, integrate components like data aggregation technologies, okay, which compile and analyze educational information from various sources. So, as we are discussing this, it is very important to discuss something which is personalized learning. So, here, learning experiences are tailored for the unique needs, preferences, pace, and abilities. Now, this is, student to student, and we also know about apps like Udemy and Tutor AI, which, bundle us offerings based on our preferences to learn and also on the area in which we are working or studying or researching. And AI provides insights into these areas of strengths and weaknesses, and we can identify the learning styles and provide customized recommendations. So, the content, the resources, and also the activities. There is also a dashboard which, shows what is the progress of learners vis-a-vis, other learners. Excuse me. Yeah, so it leads to more effective, relevant learning experience. Now, the challenge before teachers is that, about the ways of
रिलेशनशिप क्या है
teaching.
उसका घंटा का समय रिलेशनशिप था क्या साले गाली मिल रहा
Sorry.
था उसके कारण
Hello. Hello.
No, please go ahead. Please go ahead. That was
Yeah,
disturbing.
yeah, yeah. So, researchers are now discovering that there are many ways of teaching, including blended learning or adaptive learning. Now, blended learning and adaptive learning means, you leverage the uh, benefits of big data, you leverage the benefit of analytics to tailor a personalized service, okay, for a specific individual or a group of individuals. So, these customer needs and the learners' needs can be reflected in the product or service. Now we come to adaptive learning. So adaptive learning is where, the learning is tailored as per the learner. Now it is a teaching approach where, data driven instruction is based on, the insights which you get from data. You can have learning experiences to meet individual student needs, to also offer them personalized learning resources and activities to address the learning gaps which are there. Now this is a smart technology, and it changes its actions based on new data. So as more data is fed, as it gets more insights, it gets better without needing constant guidance. So this is like, deep learning. It is somewhat like deep learning. I hope everyone here is familiar with deep learning. Hello.
No, ma'am, not everyone are computer science faculties or
Okay,
professionals.
okay, no
Most of
worries.
us
I'll
are from
just
social science. Yeah.
yeah, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. So deep learning is, a kind of learning which is the subset of machine learning. Machine learning is a subset of AI, and deep learning is a subset of machine learning. Deep learning is, designing systems which work like the human brain. Okay, deep learning is based on something which is known as neural networks. So the way the human brain functions, that way these learning algorithms function, just like the human brain. So they can make decisions, they can, make better choices. So these recommendation systems which we have in these, e-commerce apps like say Amazon, okay, the movie recommendations which we have on these OTT apps like Netflix, which suggest us what we can, watch, what we could buy. Okay, these kind of systems are known as recommendation systems, and they work on deep learning. Okay, so as the data set learns and gets trained more and more, it tailors the learning experiences for individual needs. How? By dynamically adjusting the content and the pace. Okay, so now if a student is basically good but weak in certain subjects, then the learning model will tailor the curriculum for that particular student, so that the student still remains engaged and his or her learning outcomes are improved. Am I clear now?
Yes,
Hello?
Yes,
ma'am.
Yes, madam.
Yeah.
Yes, madam. You're clear now.
Okay, okay. Yeah, thank you. Now we come to universal access to education. So this is every person's right for education, and this is also, drawn in the Government of India guidelines as per RTE. Now, what all we can do for this universal access to education? So, as per a certain UNESCO policy document, we can use AI to deliver content to students anywhere in the world at any time. How? By using the AI technologies, by certain technologies like real time text to speech. Now, this, when I say, I'm talking about people who have certain challenges. Okay. Uh, we will also make classroom accessible to people who speak different languages, and also those who have visual or other learning impairments. Now Google Classroom has introduced certain features for this, and this is, I think this was started 2 years ago or something. Also, when we talk about, universal access, education can be made more equitable by leveraging the power of AI for inclusion, and also making sure that every learner, regardless of their background or their abilities or disability, has the opportunity to learn and thrive. Now, AI can play a crucial role in this by offering personalized learning, by, having plugins for various languages, also providing accessibility for students with different abilities or who are differently abled. So this will create a more inclusive, a more, equitable ecosystem where everyone can learn. So the thing is how you'll do this by, understanding what students are able to learn, what is not available in their school, and how to make that learning available. So, when this happens, AI will also help the educators make continued progress by addressing the broad range of physical, cognitive, academic, social, and emotional factors which can affect the student learning, and also ensure that all students have an equal opportunity for education, regardless of their social class, their race, their gender, their ethnic background, or their physical or mental disabilities. So, when I say AI for all, universal access for AI, this is the aim, this is the objective of having AI, using ethics and bridging the barriers which, prevent the right to education of people. Now we come to how we can use AI for education management and delivery. So, educators and administrators, as we have discussed, can leverage AI to analyze huge data, also make informed decisions, bring in adaptive learning, also assisting technology like speech recognition software, okay, transcribing the spoken words into text, then leveraging analytics, classroom management. So these days there are also virtual classrooms where uh, AR is used, that is augmented reality. Also student behavior and engagement is tracked. So you could provide students with certain badges for good behavior, for being focused. We can try this with school children. And also AI gives insights into the classroom dynamics. So what exactly is going on in a classroom where the teacher is teaching, so that the teacher can go through that and manage and motivate the students better. Then there are also AI powered tutoring systems. Now these tutoring systems will provide feedback and support, so that teachers and educators both are able to understand their learning styles. And also if there are certain complex concepts which are not clear, then the teacher can identify what are these concepts and which are the students who are not able to comprehend that, and they could focus on them and help improve the academic performance. We can also have grading and assessment tools which will only facilitate and help reduce the teacher's time. The idea is to facilitate and help, and not try to take the place of the human. Then there are chatbots and virtual assistants. So they are we have certain AI driven chatbots which we can discuss later, because this is a huge list, and they can provide students with a lot of support and assistance within the classroom, also outside the classroom, because if it is mapped to an app, students can give their queries and they can answer. These chatbots are also based on queries and intents. We can discuss these later. They are machine learning algorithms known as decision trees. Now, how can AI help in curriculum planning? So, they can help educators by planning the curriculum. How? By analyzing the educational data to identify what are the trends and what are the gaps, to ensure that the curriculum remains relevant, comprehensive, and aligned with the learning objectives. Now, there was a time when the BTech, BE, or MCA curriculum was also more theoretical. Now, with the advent of AI and so much, digital technologies occupying the education space, it is very important for students to be industry ready, which means that other than theory and the lab sessions and projects, we need to have experiential learning, which means that students work on live projects and also align with the industry. They have an internship, they have an industry visit, so that these kind of reports are created, and by the time they are ready to pass out and look for a job, they are industry ready. So this kind of thing can be done by AI, which will suggest what are the latest trends, so that the curriculum can also be periodically revamped and framed and finalized based on the latest educational and industry needs and standards. We can also have interacting and learning games, as in if we just teach, and if the student just does assignments, it could get boring after some time. So we could have games pertaining to the curriculum which the students can engage in and also learn. Now these can be practical, like if we are teaching machine learning, then we could have some machine learning game. We could have a challenge which the student can take and also provide active participation. That challenge, if addressed, could percolate into a project. uh, the challenge could be a problem definition, and based on that a practical project could be worked out. So these kind of things can be done. When we talk about personalized learning, uh, what happens is that when the learning experiences are customized, then the cognitive load on students will also reduce, because each student will receive the instructions as per their learning style and their learning pace, which will also make the life of educators easy, because the teacher now has a clear idea and everything is, everything has the analytics, everything is mapped. So if the teacher has the access to all this, then the teachers will also be able to see where someone is growing, filter on certain parameters, drill down, and they can see, where the graph is, whether the student is, peaking or the performance is dipping. And it would also suggest recommendations, so accordingly the teachers can also tailor their teaching. Now, when we say task automation, then since these grading, report generation, and all will be automated, so teachers can also have more meaningful interactions with students, and they will be able to focus better on their pedagogy. And also there is, a concept of smart content creation. Smart content creation means, digital lessons and study materials where, individualized educational plans could be created and instructions could be streamlined. We could have proctoring. Proctoring systems are very important because, there is a concept of academic integrity which has been there and should be there in the future especially. So, proctoring systems should be there to, generate alerts for any suspicious activities, so that the exams are also taken in a secure environment. So these are a few things which we can, do. Then we can also close the skill gap. How we can do this is because, when we analyze the performance data and provide targeted resources, then the learners will achieve proficiency in their particular subjects, and they will be better equipped to face future academic challenges. There are also certain AI tools, such as one is Dissolve, Dysolve. Now, this tool is very important because it detects dyslexia and other learning disabilities by analyzing the reading patterns and errors. There are also tools for dyscalculia, means students who have a problem with mathematics. Okay, so these tools provide tailored support and interventions which can help the students succeed, and also, create specialized reading programs and exercises for them. Now we come to administrative support. So administrative support, AI could greatly help in, such as scheduling, such as resource allocation, optimizing educational operations, and giving data driven insights to facilitate the lives of both the faculty as well as the students. uh, we are still away from virtual 3D classrooms, but, there are platforms like Engage VR which offer virtual environments which enhance the learning experience beyond the traditional methods, and also provide opportunities for interactive and experiential learning. Then we could have virtual campus activities. So there are platforms like Remo which use AI to create virtual spaces for networking and collaboration. But what I feel is that, if we limit ourselves to everything virtual, then also it creates various complications. A blend of, real life experience and virtual learning has to be there, and it's very important to simulate and build awareness. So now we come to a very important thing, which is parent teacher communication. It's not so much, relevant in college, but for school children it is very important. So these kind of things have to be there, so that students, the faculty and the parents are able to engage with each other, and they draw from each other to give support to each other in the education process. We have a lot of LMSs these days, which, personalize the learning paths and offer insights. So these are a few things. Now when we discuss all these things, it is also important to check for the security. So whenever we have these kind of systems in place, we also need to protect the system by making it robust enough to not fall prey to cyber threats. We have to ensure that any unusual network activity, any data breach does not happen, and sensitive student and college information is protected. We need to have tools for plagiarism detection because that is something which is happening a lot these days. So there has to be a repository where, academic content has to be checked for plagiarism, so that there is academic integrity and originality in the work of students. In terms of research, um, we have something which is known as IBM Watson Discovery. So it provides the researchers with advanced analytics capabilities so that they uncover the new findings and accelerate the research process. And lastly, but not the least, we have connected campuses. So connected campuses connect various systems over efficient educational environment. So I'll give the example of Cisco Digital Network Architecture, DNA, which uses AI to manage and optimize campus infrastructure, which helps in enhancing the connectivity and improving the overall campus experience. Now we come to certain student focused AI systems. So, the idea behind these systems is to leverage artificial intelligence for personalized learning, for feedback, and also to make sure that the students get an overall wow educational experience where we can offer tools for study, for writing, and for content creation. Now, these could be used for, personalized learning, for adaptive systems, for feedback, for identifying the learning gaps, okay, writing tools, research tools, etc. Now, there are certain examples of these, such as GPT Dictionary, which is an AI tool for improving learning skills, Exam Cramp, which is for studying, Tutor AI is for learning new topics, Speechify is for text to speech and speech to text, and GradeScope for streamlining the grading process. We'll now come to teacher focused AI systems. So teacher focused AI systems are these which help to facilitate the work of teachers, that is enhancing the teaching, including AI powered lesson planning, personalized learning, automated grading, aiming to streamline process and student outcomes. So you can have lesson planning and content creation here, then learning and adaptive process, tutoring and support. Okay, these kind of things you can have. Now that we have discussed these systems, we need to understand what are the design principles for such systems. So, first point which comes to our mind here is purpose. That is, it should be employed purposefully so that it supports and enriches the learning experience and also promotes the well being of students as well as teachers. Now, what points we have to consider is inclusivity and reducing the digital divide. The second point or the second design principle is compliance. Compliance means adhering to the existing policies or defined policies, which includes privacy, data security, student safety, and data ownership. The third point here, or the third design principle, is knowledge, which means understanding how AI works, what are the limitations of AI, implications and ethical considerations. So it is very important to train individuals with the knowledge and skills so that they can engage responsibly with the AI technologies. The fourth design principle is about balance, that is understanding the benefits of AI and also trying to understand the risks. One of the most important principles is integrity, which means that everyone should be clear about how to use AI, and also originality has to be maintained. So while AI tools can assist in getting information, but their limitations also have to be recognized to value authenticity. The sixth principle is agency, that is maintain human decision making. Now any AI and rely on human approval processes. So AI role here should be consult factors. The seventh principle is evaluation, which means we need to continuously assess the importance of AI. So we have to continuously review and update the AI guidance to ensure that it meets the needs of the educational community and also complies with the evolving needs and changing laws as well as technology. Now we come to the analysis and trade-offs. So, there is a what should I say, a quagmire or a doubt between privacy and effectiveness. So effectiveness is important, but at the same time, the need for privacy and security has to be balanced with the concept of consent and approval. There has to be explainability with accuracy, which means that while deep learning systems make more accurate predictions, they could create a conflict with the explainability about the decisions or outcomes. Some data driven insight may appear to be too good, but it could not be explained logically due to certain reasons which are beyond the scope of these algorithms. Innovation versus precision, which means that there are certain sandbox pilot tests to understand systems, but whether a system can be used or not cannot exactly be determined by this. So there are various other tools also which are used, like feedbacks, like surveys, like testing. So we have less time, otherwise I could have gone into the details of that as well. Efficiency versus non discrimination means AI systems need to let go of certain things like race, gender, caste, etc., if the training set is not representative. Now we come to three-stage analysis, which means that AI directed, AI supported, and AI empowered paradigms have represented a shift in how AI is used to enhance learning and empower learners. So, AI directed means that AI is primarily used to automate tasks, deliver personalized feedback, and guide cognitive learning with learners. Okay, AI supported, as in, AI functions as a tool to support learning with learners, and AI works collaboratively. When we talk about AI empowered, which means that the learner has now assumed the role of a leader. So, this stage focuses on empowering learners to enable them to reflect on their learning. They themselves can now personalize their learning paths and also create better AI systems to adapt accordingly. Now, these are certain tools which are used for AI education. The most popular ones are Duolingo, ChatGPT, and Google Scholar. Grammarly is also used very frequently. So, have any of you used these tools?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. So,
Yes,
what
Chat
for what?
GPT.
Yeah, for what have you used this?
Basically, madam, I teach telecommunications. So I
Okay,
use it for some of the, but I'll raise one question to you after you please complete your talk. So I've
right.
been only familiar with ChatGPT. I'll ask you a question after your talk
Okay,
is over.
okay. So, I have a small suggestion here. All those who have questions, you may please type in the chat box, and I will take them one by one after the session is over. Would that be okay with everyone?
Yes, madam, that's
Hello.
fair,
Yeah, yeah.
fine.
Okay, okay. Now, these are certain challenges of AI in education. Okay. The first is biased information and AI hallucinations. What do we mean by AI hallucinations? What do we mean by AI hallucinations?
Yeah, can I answer that?
Yes, please.
Yeah, see, I'm Vishnu Kanare here. AI hallucinations actually is misinformation which the AI
Yes,
engine generates. So, in case of
right,
generative AI, what happens is, I'll give you an example. In the case
right,
of one legal research to find out case law supporting a particular point, the AI fabricated that. So, there is a case going on in the US courts about it.
right, right. True. So, there is a lot of talk about ethics in AI, like Sir said right now. A lot of information which is biased, lot of generative AI giving outputs which are biased, which are not in consonance with what is ethical. So these are examples of AI hallucinations. Now, when we talk about ethics and transparency, these days when we look at the output of generative AI, we find that the privacy and the rights of individuals are not respected. There is little transparency because there's a lot which we are not aware of. In fact, I don't know whether you all agree with me, but we get to see uh, what they want to show us. I mean, most of what we read is irrelevant. It is not required. While what is required doesn't come to us. How many of you agree with this? Hello? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, so I was asking that how many of you agree that what comes to us in terms of news, in terms of write-ups, is not exactly what we want, and what we want isn't available to us.
Yes, sometimes we do feel that very much.
Yeah, and
I'm
lot of
actually,
yeah,
okay, sorry.
yes,
Sometimes it's the
It's
other
also
way
an issue.
around because
It's also an issue of prompt engineering. If
yes,
you
yes,
use the
yes,
right
yes,
prompts, you get correct answers. So
yes,
you
yes,
need to be more clued up on that.
right, right.
And
I think ma'am was one of the
modify
teachers was saying something that
your
it's the other way
prompt,
around.
getting wrong answers.
yeah, because when it starts optimizing, it gives
Yeah,
you things that you've already seen
yes,
or what you've all based on what you've seen. So whole world is hidden to us.
yes. True. And I agree with the concept of prompt engineering, that based on the prompts which are given, uh, that is the output which we get. So somewhere down the line, this also needs to be addressed. Okay, and data collection and systemization. What are the challenges in data collection and systemization?
See, some governments don't give any data. They don't publish any data.
Yes,
So at a governmental national level, that's an issue.
yes. Even at the state level, ma'am. Even at the state level, and also
Yes,
I
I
find,
meant among
yeah,
countries, there are some that publish a lot of data, while there are some are very, very reticent.
very discreet. Yes, I agree. And also, what gets reported is totally different vis-a-vis what is actually happening. So, just to give an example, I come from the state of Uttar Pradesh, and there was a report during, when the lockdown had kind of just started, and we were in the, end of 2020, and there were reports that COVID has not been addressed properly in Maharashtra, whereas UP has managed it very well. Whereas the actual situation was kind of totally different. In
So, ma'am,
Maharashtra, managing, yeah, yes,
you're
ma'am,
talking about authenticity of data, which is
yes,
worrying us.
yes.
Okay.
No, not just that. Like ma'am said, it also depends on the national government. I mean, the same
What
government
they
is there in the state. So,
uh,
and it's just a practical thought that in a state like Maharashtra, managing a situation like COVID is very difficult,
mm,
because everybody travels using these local trains. The kind of
yes,
rush which is there, the kind of population which is here for work, managing in such
mm,
a situation is very, very difficult.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
So those kind of things come. Yeah. Then public policy. How? What are the challenges in terms of public policy?
Actually, ma'am, there is a bias in the data often. Because see,
Yes.
the data is taken from public sources,
Yes.
primarily from the net. So
Yes.
therefore, often a lot of bias creeps into it. It could be gender bias, it could be any kind of bias. But
True. True.
so you do not get data which is not biased. So taking public policy, I mean policy decisions based on that can be really disastrous. So
Yes.
it
Yes.
can only give us leads or indicators, but it
Right.
can never be used really for the final thing.
Right. Right. True. I agree.
And
Yeah.
also the policies are formulated based on a few stakeholders also. It is not representative of all the stakeholders.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So, the other thing is basic technological infrastructure. What could be the challenge here? What could be the challenge in terms of technology infra?
I mean, we do not know
So it
whether
is
all the
accessibility to computing power.
Yes,
It
yes.
requires very high degree of
High
computing
degree
power.
of computing power is required. Yes. Okay, so now we will, look at how we can mitigate these challenges which are there. So one is, training the people, motivating them, towards education using AI, and being careful about, the evaluation of the needs of students, having a solid action plan, which means also, having a plan to identify the glitches and how to mitigate each glitch. Then addressing fast and slow learners individually, and identifying what customized education has not been, introducing the collaboration opportunities, and what else can we do? What else can we do? Okay, how many organizations actually follow the data governance and privacy protocols?
Madam, I don't think many organizations follow.
Yeah, even now, many organizations do not follow the protocols, and this is very sad because data
Yeah, but
privacy laws have come. Yeah,
yeah,
yes,
ma'am,
sir.
actually there is a major issue. The major issue is that although now draft rules have been published, they are not yet
Yeah,
implemented. So therefore,
they're
it's
not yet
like an
implemented.
act
True.
without any teeth. Because still the
Yes,
draft rules are notified as final rules. Nobody is going to work towards implementing it. What if they change? All the
yes,
work will be undone. So everyone is waiting since last about 10 years. Since
right,
the
right,
bill was first discussed, Shri Krishna,
right.
I think Justice Shri Krishna was there at that time.
Yes, 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 true. So I'll tell you my experience. Actually, then about 2 years back or something, there was again a lot of focus on these data privacy laws, and I was working with L&T. I was heading a division in L&T, and we engaged a legal person for this purpose, and lot of homework was done, lot of documents were prepared and everything, and then suddenly, everything was lost because everyone started saying, "ये अभी law तो नहीं बना है. These are just rules." I mean, the same thing which you said right now. So this has to be, proper law, and there have to be concerns. The rights have to be protected. So unless this happens, these challenges cannot be mitigated properly. Also, there have to be protocols so that, the risks of these malicious actors where AI infers into the private data, where, identities are unraveled so that cyber attacks can happen. These kind of things have to stop. Plus, we have to provide training sessions for educators so that they familiarize themselves with these AI tools and how they can use and integrate them effectively. Support is essential so that they are able to use the AI capabilities with confidence, and also the ethical concerns have to be addressed. Now, how they can be addressed? By defining objectives and requirements as clearly as possible, by evaluating suitable data sources for AI data quality, training the algorithms so that they process data and generate the right insights, and also, understand how AI deployments can be integrated with the existing systems. So, while you maintain your existing systems, it is also important to learn how to integrate the deployment of AI. These are certain best practices which we discussed, training by continuously training in the use of AI, training tools to detect plagiarism, etc. Also promote digital competencies, have policies which are clear for the use of these AI tools, promote an understanding of how these tools are used. I'm talking in the context of Gen AI because that is the one which is most used in the field of education. Also, copyright protection has to be taken care of. These days, what I find is, people use references and everything and they do not quote the source, which is again a violation. Now, responsible use of AI means ethical and responsible integration of these tools, developing methods to distinguish between original and Gen AI generated work. So, if we are experienced educators, we are able to spot the difference in a jiffy. Now, promote critical thinking and original creation. Also, in terms of evaluation, continuously evaluate the impact which AI has in education, and also regular feedback by which we can enhance the role of AI in education and ethically so. So, very briefly, I'll discuss two case studies. One was about a UK university which developed AI powered intelligent tutoring system for computer science students using NLP and machine learning, so that personalized feedback and guidance was provided to students. And these students who took this performed better than those with traditional instruction methods. The second is about Berlitz, which is a language education company, and it wanted to meet the growing demand for flexible learning options. So it started to maintain its focus on spoken language practice, and that too in an online environment. By the way, Duolingo does the same for international languages, and Duolingo has writing as well as speech tools. I have myself learned French from Duolingo, so I can vouch for that. And Berlitz has also collaborated with Microsoft to achieve this, and they have used Azure AI speech technology. Okay, this is a case study, and if needed, I can share the case study later. So what we can do is that we can have a better understanding of the impact of AI on education and training. And besides that, it is very important to understand how AI can be used to engage positively and ethically to exploit its full potential. That's it from my side today. Any questions?
Yeah, madam. Can I ask you a
Yes.
question?
Yeah, please.
I have two small questions. One is related, just take off from your last slide.
Yeah,
There's a dilemma to the evaluators and the teachers. Today, by
right.
default, most of the students are writing answers from ChatGPT or Gemini.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
there comes a dilemma that, the evaluation are done on the basis of rubrics, certain rubrics, which does
Right,
not match exactly with the answers coming out from
right,
ChatGPT.
right. Yes,
So
yes.
there's a dilemma for the evaluators and the faculty how to say that
Right.
this answer is wrong or this as compared to vis-a-vis the traditional textbook answers. So probably what would be your take on that? I mean, yeah, of course, this has to be a regulatory thing. The universities or the colleges, the people who decide what should be the correct answers as per the rubrics, that would they would be able to tell on that. But what is your take on that? So that was, yeah, if you can answer that part first. Yeah.
Yeah, so what I feel is ki if it is a chat GPT generated answer, it
Because by
will
and large, the answer comes out to be very correct these days from ChatGPT and
yes, yes. But what I mean, are you asking for a paper or you're asking for a
no,
project?
not for project, even for any engineering problem. They feed
Right.
the question into ChatGPT and they get an answer and they write that answer in the examination.
So what we can do is we can use one more step to test their answer, which is trying to give a practical problem and then see how they are able to implement that answer.
Okay,
Now
okay,
this can
fine.
be this can be used in case of engineering and management.
Correct. Correct. Fine, fine. That's a
Yeah,
good suggestion. Yeah. And
yeah.
my second question to you is you being from IBM, these days in terms
Yes,
of AI, I always hear the term predictive analytics, which we are all familiar with, predictive
yes,
analytics and
yes.
prescriptive analytics. So I get
Right.
always confused. What is prescriptive analytics?
Okay. So I'll clear this, sir. Predictive analytics is when you try to predict what is going to happen. Now, this could be, things like when you predict that there's a tsunami which is going to come, okay? What is going to happen in the future based on the trends?
Correct.
That is predictive analytics. Now, prescriptive is when you suggest a remedy for it. Okay. Now, there is a tsunami which is going to come. So, what you can do, you can, evacuate the fishermen if you are able to understand that this is going to happen within these hours. Also, in stock market, okay, the stock market is going to crash because of this reason. So, you can invest here, you can invest there. This is prescriptive.
But then the algorithms of ML would remain the same?
No, they will change.
Fine, madam. Fine.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, sir.
Madam, I have one question.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, but I'm a senior citizen,
Right.
so I want to ask one question. What is the
Yes, sir.
use of AI? What is the use of AI as far as senior citizen is concerned?
Okay. Sir, for senior citizens, there are various apps. The first is, if you're living alone and you need help, you can use these AI apps where, they integrate you with various organizations which offer people to help. If you want to, go to a bank or something. These days, digital banking is there, so that is not that much required. If you want to visit a hospital or something, you want some blood sample or something you need to give, or you want to go somewhere far and you need help, so those kind of facilities are there. Then of course, certain there is also a concept of caregivers where when the seniors feel lonely or something, there are people who can deliver food, who can sit with them. These kind of services are also available. So these are certain things which come to my mind as of now.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Second question, what are the
Yes.
tools for text to speech and speech to text? What are the tools?
Yeah, there are several tools, sir. If you want, I can share after this Q&A session. I can share it with Suma ma'am.
Okay,
I can
yeah.
share a list. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a
Okay.
question.
Yes.
Okay, can I go ahead? Yeah.
Yeah, please,
See,
sir.
basically, the issue here is that when we say whether it is ethical or not for students to use AI in the examinations, it actually is only a matter of time, because in the
Right.
time when I gave my examinations, calculators were not allowed. There are a lot of things which were
Yes.
not allowed, and now they are commonplace in regularly routine examinations.
Right. Right.
So, in fact, for professional examinations, you are allowed access to resources. So, I consider AI
Right.
only as a resource. So,
Right.
therefore, it's only a matter of time, and there is nothing unethical. Maybe our system of examinations, how we conduct them, should change. So, what are your views on that? And how could we modify the exam techniques so
I
that even if
agree with what sir is saying here, because there is no question of staggering tests. Our time there was
Right.
just a 100-mark exam, and we used to attend
Right.
lectures regularly. There was no absenteeism issue. But now there is so much multitasking, because student is expected to intern, student is expected to do under NEP community engagement program, is expected to do a formative and a summative evaluation for all the courses. So something or the other, there is no staggering timeline. There is no so because the student is also multitasking, I feel the student is, as a knee-jerk response, turning to AI instead of going to Google Translate or some other tool which is a little more academically rigorous. So as a
Right.
literature teacher, I find that I'm constantly in a dilemma between the very academically rigorous student with a photographic memory who's using AI tools like ChatGPT, who's not capable of producing grammatically correct sentences that are spelt correctly, but is able to generate these things correctly, fact check, modify AI content, and photographically memorize this and reproduce it in an exam situation. But I know when this person is sitting in front of me and I am questioning him or her in a viva, they are not able to on their own construct a grammatically correct sentence. And unleashing such a teacher into the system, to do a
Right.
B.Ed as an English teacher, it is a very, very, you know, with the kind of demographic that we are dealing with, for example, in Sion West, we have
Right.
students coming from Antop Hill, Kurla, we have students
Okay.
coming from labor camp, Dharavi, right? And
Right.
they are first generation learners sometimes. They are very
Right.
hardworking. And
Right.
students, in fact, who are very proficient in the language, they are
Hmm.
not rigorous in their approach.
Right.
Whereas these students are working hard, submitting voluntary assignments, solving question papers, and showing you, they're telling you that, yes, I'm using AI tools because I can't generate content which is grammatically correct. So we are able to give them feedback. We are saying, yes, use AI, but use it with the consent of your supervisor, not for
Right.
idea generation, but for
Right.
helping you edit, helping you, So my question about an AI policy is also put on the chat box. This is a
Right.
dilemma we are facing. So
Right.
I just wanted your take on it. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I fully appreciate the views of you, ma'am, and also of sir. And yes, this is a big concern because prior to IBM, I was also a professor teaching MBA students, and I was teaching cloud and big data. So I saw that most of my students, they just copy paste out of chat GPT while they do not understand the concepts. Now the problem is how to address this. So what we can do is we can, tell them or we can assess them based on their answers without the use of chat GPT, and we can introduce a system where we can deduct marks if we find that the originality in content is not there. So the AI comes into picture for two tools now. One is plagiarism check and the other is proctoring. So when these tools are implemented in the exams, then I think there will be some change. And even if these students are able to get marks using AI tools by copy pasting and not, as a facilitator, then they are going to have problems in their workplace because it's a competitive world. And, only those who have the right knowledge, who are able to solve a problem and who are able to be troubleshooters are able to survive the corporate world.
So, madam, here a plagiarism detection software like Turnitin is excellent.
Hmm.
It is detecting
Yes.
AI. But a
Yeah.
plagiarism detection software like Drillbit, which is far more affordable for institutions, is even acceptable for University of Mumbai, is not able to
Right.
detect AI.
I don't know about the software, ma'am, so I cannot comment on this. I will find out and let you know because I'm not aware about Drillbit. So I need to understand that first, and only then I'll be able to speak. So that depends on, the kind of data set which has been trained upon.
Madam, it's like this. There are very few softwares in the world today which can actually detect the plagiarism through the AI or whether an AI
Right.
generated. Tarantin, yes, it can, but it's a very, very
Yes.
expensive software. And many of the institutions are
Right.
not in a position to afford it.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the problem. We cannot help it at this
Right.
stage.
Right.
So there's a huge potential for building up a software which is cost effective, which can generate the AI generated content as of now.
Right. Right. So, one thing I would like to mention here is that we are developing our own large language models, and India AI is in the process of doing that. So, very soon, I think we should give an answer to DeepSeek and all. And we are also, wanting feedback from educators, from corporates about what their challenges are, and we can, come up with models which have more accuracy compared to the existing ones as of now.
Ma'am, can you also
Ma'am,
address the questions on the chat box?
Yeah, ma'am, just a moment. I didn't see them. I'll just go through. Yeah.
ma'am, can I ask only one question, ma'am? I've not
Yeah,
put it in
sure.
the chat. Yes, please.
Sure,
My
ma'am. You can
concern,
ask and then.
yeah.
Mm.
My concern is related to AI fostering self-centeredness. My
Okay.
problem is related to value integration. See,
Okay.
uh, now there is a lot of concern because of more interaction between machine and men.
Right.
So many things are getting lost. But our brain is made in such a way that we have to connect to others. And
Right.
people say that if you have to be happy, you need hormones like serotonin and oxytocin, and they secrete only when you connect to another person.
Yes, true.
So how does AI work towards value integration? What can be done? See, if we use technology, I'm good as a learner, but what about my living? All the purpose will be lost if I'm only going to use everything for myself. Sharing, if I'm living in a society, everybody has to be well connected, and what way technology can be used, I feel, for value integration. How can you make it see people are spending money on technology? Value education just becomes one. Sorry to say, in many of the schools or any other place, extra lecture, completing portion, nobody even thinks seriousness about compassion, gratitude, and all, which is
Right.
important not from any religious point of view, but from your own health point of view. Your very
Right.
good development of brain, etc. So somewhere
Mm-hmm.
I feel people are not focusing on this. Maybe that I do not know. I may be wrong, but I feel it's scary sometimes, ma'am, to tell you, because we had a lecture previously related to AI and research and
Right.
ethical about Elon Musk bringing about this thing where a man doesn't recover a lady anymore and he will get the
Right.
best of the child and all that. I mean, ultimately, where are we eating unless there is some check in terms of basic things related to value? That is what was my concern.
Yeah. So, ma'am, with the little knowledge and experience I have, what I can say is that we can make AI more human centric. How?
Uh,
By having more team like interactions, by having more community like interactions. Okay.
mm, mm,
This can happen if you build an AI community where people come together and engage. AI is
okay.
just a facilitator to maybe book a slot, maybe arrange a meeting somewhere, but that
Mm,
real thing has to happen, like you say.
hap-
Okay.
okay.
Because at the end of the day, see, people are earning in crores, but they are not at peace.
Yeah, right.
Whatever
Very true.
technology comes, they are still running after meditation apps. And you must have heard recently that meditation app of this person Sadhguru has
Yes,
suddenly become very
yes,
viral after it was launched. So at
yes,
the end of the day, we are all humans and we need to interact with each other. So AI has to just facilitate. You shouldn't be depending on AI like you have a mobile in your hand and for anything and everything you use technology to press the button and get it done. No.
that's
when
true.
when even when we were growing up, I am in my 40s, ma'am, and even as we were growing up, we saw what is struggle, what it is like to study without Google.
Yes, but I think we're
Feel
better
happy
off,
that
ma'am.
I feel happy that I could clear cat, and I was a part of an IM without using Google, without using any AI tools. So we have to use technology as a facilitation tool, and this human centric design has to be there so that it brings more cohesiveness in people, and people are able to interact and meet with each other instead of trying to create a bot or a robot
Yes,
or this kind of thing. Because it is scary, like you said. It could also bring about various kinds of mental debilities when this happens.
yeah,
So I hope
yeah.
this
I hope.
answers your question, ma'am.
Yeah, I hope people focus on that, ma'am, through this medium.
Right,
That is
right.
only my
So
desire. Thank
now,
you, ma'am.
now I will be, thank you, ma'am. So
Mm.
now I will be taking the questions in the chat box one by one. If I miss anybody's question, please, my apologies. Okay. Yes, there is a huge list of, plagiarism detection and prevention software, which we use. And if required, I can share a list of them after the meeting. Okay, what is the next question?
Okay, please share the list, ma'am.
Yeah, I will do that. Okay. Yes.
And next important question is that whether we should have a policy.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, sir.
The answer is yes, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, this is true that one size does not fit all, and we need to have, institution-wise policies. And UNESCO has already implemented a policy. Government of India does not have an AI policy per se as of now, but yes, it is in the works. And very soon you will be seeing an AI model also and policy also. But there are certain principles which can be seen on indiaai.gov.in. So. Any concerns, you can also give your suggestions there, so we will take up all these concerns and we can implement the policies. And yes, it is very necessary to have a format for user declaration, which has to be attached with the assignments or the project, so that the expectations are clear firsthand. Okay, there are tools which can, what is this? Okay, I've already answered this. Okay, yeah, this I will be sharing. Okay. Okay, somebody said no audio. Acha, no audio issue. Okay, okay.
No, I don't think there is any other question.
Yeah, okay. So I'll be
Okay.
sharing the list of these plagiarism tools, and I will also share the India AI link. So if any of you have any suggestions, you can post the suggestions there. I'm on the committee, so we can, take these into consideration. We value the opinions of highly esteemed educators, and yes.
Okay, if there's no other question, I think, madam, we had a wonderful session. Thank you very much for being with us and
Thank you
sharing
so
your
much, sir.
insights on this
Thank you so
particular
much, sir.
important topic.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you very much. Thank you very much for
Nice.
the
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Thank you,
ma'am.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I feel
Thank you,
humbled.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye and good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Welcome.
ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am. Thank you.
ma'am.